All right, it's 4 o'clock on a Thursday. It's time for the real estate happy hour.
Now we're back. There we go. How we doing? We got a little red Corvette coming in.
Hey,
Because all these loans were processed, we're going to buy 14 little red Corvettes.
Well, Prince's estate could buy a few, I'm sure.
That's right.
I mean, what an artist he was, right?
Beautiful day, huh?
Absolutely. Boy, it is, what is today, January the 17th? And it is pouring rain out there.
It's raining and it's gray. It's a little cold. But look, this time of year, I always say that we're one day closer to March. Because I know there's going to be spring sometime in March. Now, in Alabama, I guarantee you we're going to have some cold, but...
Oh, absolutely.
But it's still March, so
I'm we haven't seen snow this year. Which
when it gets here.
I mean, not that we ever get it, but when we do, we get it, right?
Yeah,
but anyway, man, how's your week going?
Man, good. It's been a busy week. It's Thursday, so we're having fun.
Brady, big captain of the basketball team.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That's your son? Yeah.
We won that game. So we won 2 games in a row. Got another game tomorrow. So it's been fun. We're wrapping up the basketball season, but he's having a good time over at Chelsea. So happy about that.
Well, great. Man, did you see this thing? Man, because I know you like me, because I don't watch a lot of network TV. And Netflix, did you see they raised their prices by $2?
Yeah, and I think it's funny. The first time they did this years ago, I thought they were crazy for raising the rates. And obviously I was...
But that was when it was $7?
Yeah, I was wrong because it shot up after that. But and we're also going to cover Netflix in the stock highlight. But I did see that. We're going to talk more about their numbers and that stock here pretty soon or later on in the show.
Well,
but yeah,
you know what's really interesting is I was listening to something with or reading something. I can't remember where I saw this in the Wall Street Journal, but they were talking about price creep. We're getting in that situation where everybody is cutting the cord, so everybody's gone the other way. So when they did that, so these guys know this, and all these little services that we all compiled to cut our bill in half are now going, hey, it's just $3. Hey, it's just $2. And then you add your 8 services together, and you're right back where you were.
Yeah, you think about that. Life has turned into it's just $2-3. It's just $35 bag fee.
Oh, it's just that. Oh, don't worry about it.
It's just a 12.
You'll be fine.
It's just a $12 lunch on an airplane. It's funny, how things creep up like that and how they add a little bit incrementally here and there.
Well, I found it interesting too as I was getting ready for today. Is that did you know that like a lot of these internet providers cap off, like AT&T caps it off at 1 terabyte, right? I don't even know with streaming how much that means.
Right.
But what they're doing is they're retaliating because people are getting, a lot of them provide cable. Let's say you're in, I don't know, some town that has their own local monopoly, right? And so what they'll do is they'll put a cap on it. And you lose any savings that you had.
And then it starts slowing down, right?
Right. And what's interesting, if you're in a major metropolitan area with Spectrum, even though their customer service traditionally was bad, I just switched to them again. Not bad this time around. But what's interesting is when they bought Time Warner or whoever the cable they bought, the FCC said in order for that to happen, they could not put a cap on the data you have at home until 2023.
And that's good news. And I tell you, went through this problem with data and streaming and how fast speeds are when we cut the cord and switched to the Fire Stick, I believe. The internet TV. But we had AT&T. It was too slow. AT&T was just too slow in our neighborhood to run that and phones, video games, iPad, whatever else you got going on. And so we had to switch to Charter.
Well, I know.
And the speed was...
AT&T told me, I called them and said, hey, what's up, man? Because I'm supposed to get 24 gigs or whatever, 24 megabytes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so his excuse was, well, tell your wife just to turn off whatever she's watching and let you watch yours.
Oh.
I said, that makes a lot of sense. And what about the 9-year-old? Oh, that'll work too, So,
one thing that's cool that we've done, we've got, we bought a Google Wi-Fi. So there's 3 Wi-Fi points in the house, and look, y'all can laugh at me if you're already doing this. Been doing it for 5 years. But,
so easy.
But the app actually allows you to go in and select a device to prioritize. So
yours is prioritized?
Well, so when Brady's here, he wants the priority on the Xbox.
So can he move it?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
So he'll text me and say, hey, put the priority on the Xbox. He'll
put it on this guy. The rest of the time it goes to you. Because, your family goes to bed early anyway,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we do.
Hey,
The
did you
kids say
see? Did you see this? This is you and I talked about a month ago about how financially illiterate a lot of these kids are coming out of high school are. Found it very interesting. In Florida, a lawmaker down there has introduced a bill that would make it mandatory for personal finance classes in the 9th grade for a half credit course. I don't know what that means in terms of hours, but
I think it's great. I know Brady took a class in finance, talking about some credit card interest, talked about some checking accounts or and balancing a checkbook and doing some really basic stuff. But I think it's a shame how little personal finance we learn.
Where does a check go? Like,
right.
What does the overnight lending rate mean? Right. I mean, and the other thing is, if you're getting through high school and they're supposed to be teaching you about life, and you haven't filled out a fake, like not a fake tax return, if anybody from the IRS is listening, I mean, a demo fake tax return. It's the one thing you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Well, yeah.
Other than die.
There's a lot of things, even like not understanding that you're paying interest on a credit card. You went and spent $1,000 on a credit card this month, and you have a minimum payment of, let's just say, $45, and you think that's all I got to pay this month.
Oh,
and you don't realize that $45 is not going towards your balance first.
Yeah,
it's going to pay the interest first.
Towards daddy. I mean, daddy, the bank is going to make that money.
Yeah, a lot of simple things like that would be awesome if they learned in school or learned at a much younger age.
Well, I mean, imagine, we talk about it all the time if they learn the power of compound interest, and you're 16, you work a summer and then you get the $1,000 that you made and you put $500 in a Raw.
Yeah.
You're going to be on your way to being a millionaire at a very early age.
Yeah, it's tremendous how much difference you can make if you flip your savings from between 15 and 25 rather than 45 and up. I mean, you'll make tremendous amount of money. Matter of fact, you can save a little bit from 15 to 25 and be done.
Absolutely.
It's going to sit there and grow for 30 or 40 years, and people just don't think about that compound interest and how much it kicks in year 25, year 30, year 40, and how much you're making at that point.
I mean, even at later ages, too, people go, I'm 45, too late, 55, too late. No, it's never too late to avail yourself of those things. So
definitely got to get started early.
Well, talk about interest rates.
Okay, so interest rates right now, it's a big story. We're going to talk about the Fed reversal later on in the stock block, but basically, if you go and pull up some stocks lately, the Fed reversal was when the Fed changed their tune. Okay, back in October of last year, they were still talking about we're not even close to neutral, which meant that we're going to have to still be aggressive on raising rates. And they took a lot of heat from President Trump. They took a lot of heat from Jim Cramer. For anybody that watches CNBC, they know Jim Cramer. But the Fed was taking a lot of heat from a lot of people on what they were saying and how aggressive they were with raising their rates, which translates into everything else. So anyway, right now, interest rates, 30-year mortgage rates around 4.5%, some days a little bit less, some days a little bit more. The big thing I wanted to talk about this week was the revision, okay? And from this Fed reversal, and I'd say Fed reversal because they reversed their, their verbiage, right? They reversed their message. They backed off. They said, we are going to stop and watch. We're going to check the economic indicators before we get back on this aggressive pace.
Because they were doing it willy-nilly. I mean, they had, well, I shouldn't say willy-nilly. They had a plan. They were executing their plan, regardless of what was happening around them.
Exactly. And they reversed it from, the 3 hikes this year. They turned that down to 2 hikes. And then they also backed off saying, we're going to now, at the next meeting and going forward, we're going to look at the data. We're going to look at the economics.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good of them. I'm glad they are.
I just think it's interesting. There are certain things that we get with mortgage rate projections. So the projection for mortgage rates this year for most, as of 2 to 3 weeks ago, a month ago, was 5.5 in 2019. Stepped up through the fourth quarter, but we're going to end the year closer to 5.5. Now, since then, in the past week, I've seen those revisions change down to 4.9 or, right around 5.
Now, who's coming up with these forecasts? Because, I mean, my God.
So who's they, right?
Yeah, who is they?
So they is the National Association of Realtors. It's the Mortgage Bankers Association. It's other economists.
I trust them. I don't trust the National Association of Realtors to decide what y'all's interest rates are going to be.
But these are economists that are looking at the stars, right?
Right.
And they're seeing where things are. So I just think it's interesting that it's January the 17th. So we're halfway into the first month of the year, and we've already revised our interest rate projections down a half point.
And now, am I wrong in thinking that we're not letting the free market roll here, in that mortgage bank should be able to set their rates? And I understand that y'all are buying. Let's call it Bank of America. If they want to loan more money, lower your interest rate. If they want to lower their margin, that sort of thing. I mean, why are we so tied to the Fed on this stuff?
Well, it happens to a certain extent, but there's always a value for the rate. So some banks can cut their margin and shave it a little bit, but at some point you're losing money because you cut the rates too much, and then you're losing money on your whole portfolio business that you've got because people are going to start refinancing out the loans you got right now. So it just doesn't make sense to get too aggressive on your own. Now, if the market drives rates down, then you're going to go with the market. But just to go out rogue and just
buy the business.
and start putting rates at 4%.
Well, and the problem is, I think when you do that too, right, is that you're not going to be able to sell them to them because you've now done certain things to that loan where they're not as sellable, I would assume.
Right.
They're not as profitable.
Yeah. So I think the buzzword coming out of 18 is affordability. Okay. So our price appreciation on houses has been 5%, roughly national average, whatever. That is going to slow down. It's not going away. It's not stopping. And rates are still going to creep up. So affordability, how that's affected means that, the house has risen a little bit in value, and your interest rate has also gone up a little bit. So you're paying a little bit more for it, and the financing costs you a little bit more.
I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, but is there any scenario in this environment where you see refinancing as anybody's option?
Yeah, I mean, actually had a guy checking on it today, but they're looking to switch from a 30-year. So let's say they're a 30-year to a 15-year. So let's say they're 3 to 5 years into a 30-year. Okay, so they still got 27.
Still paying all interest.
Yeah, 27 to 25 years left, and then they cut that down to a 15-year. That would make sense.
Okay,
right?
so basically, we're going to need to see a step down in years.
Yeah, and what I want to bring up there on the refinancing, I want people to be cautious on. A lot of lenders will throw out let's say $400 a month. Well, think about what you're doing there. If you're rolling in a car loan that you were paying for 5 years, you're rolling in a bunch of credit card debt, you might truly be saving, $200, $300, $400 a month, but are you just stretching that right back out over 30 years? So are you managing that? In order for that to be a good financial decision, you kind of need to turn around and do something with that savings. Don't continue to spend the excess.
Well, I can tell you this. As interest rates went down, you made us a ton of money in our equity because you advised me every step of the way. Prices went down or rates went down a little bit, whatever, and you said, hold on, you can keep the same payment, but let's move down to a 20. Then we moved to a 15.
Yeah, so you're shaving time off of it.
And I was just shaving time, but at the end of the day, we're now, since 2011, $60,000, $70,000 difference in where I was and where I could have been and where I am now. I mean, that's a massive number.
Yeah, that's a big number, and I think a lot of people forget, the power of time. We're so immediate right now. The society.
Oh yeah, I need this money.
Everything happens immediately, but you give the market some appreciation. Obviously helps too, which we're going to continue to see. So that house as an asset is still a good idea.
Absolutely. You just got to keep them nice. You go into some of these houses now. Oof. I tell you, some people, I wonder who's running the hen house,
Well, I want us to move on. We've got our Birmingham market stats updated to close out last year.
Yeah. One of the things we're at, I say all time, relatively all time. In my working life, we're at all-time inventory lows. We're now down to less than 5,000. We're about 4,700 listings on the market at any one time. And,
in Birmingham area.
In the Birmingham area.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating, and you alluded to it just a second ago, which was we have low inventories, but the average sales price still shooting up over almost 8% increase in sales price.
And that's year over year, so January
year over year,
or December to
December. And one of the biggest issues that we're facing is a situation where we are worried that prices are outpacing the ability of people to actually fill those homes down the road. We got to slow it down a little bit in this price appreciation, because every month when we brought these to you, we're looking at 7%, 8%. At some point, this has got to stop.
Right, and I want to highlight, because everybody when they start to think about buying or selling a house, they look at numbers, right? They look at national stats. Because usually you don't care about what's going on nationally, right? You just care about what's going on in Birmingham. But when you're in the process, you pay attention to these things a little bit more. So when I'm throwing out that 5% appreciation, that's kind of more of a national number. You see here, year over year, we're up 7.8% in the Birmingham area.
Right.
Now, the Birmingham market has typically been stronger and more resilient than national numbers. Right?
But we also didn't see the double-digit increases that they did. Now, one of the things interesting, number of homes sold last month, remember, we decreased significantly. And I don't have that percentage here. Well, actually, I may. Let's see. It was an 11% decrease in inventory.
Okay,
11%, yes. And then you had a decrease in the number of sales of single-family homes by 5%. And then if you add in the townhomes, you're looking at a 10% total, almost 20% decrease in the number of condos and townhomes. So you ended up averaging there, because of the sheer number of single-family homes, you had about a 10% decrease. But yet, again, the average sales price way up.
Yeah, and I think this goes to, I feel like the Fed is changed their tune because of the effects they felt on the housing market. And I really feel like that's why this year is going to be a great year, because the rates are going to stay calm. And so we're going to have that normal influx of inventory that's going to answer some of these issues that we felt last year, right?
Right. I mean, I was looking over some of our areas in the area to kind of get an idea. I mean, you take the Hoover area, average sales price, again, up 8%, down on the number of homes sold, 3.4% in sheer numbers. Townhomes, condos in Hoover last month, total of eight, and that is a condo townhome. That is a market that has a lot of them.
Yeah.
In
Alabaster over there up 15% year over year, and that's average price.
Average price, but look at that, down 21% in the number of homes sold. Inventory down 10%.
And there's been a lot of growth last year in Alabaster.
Vestavia Hills, if you're in Vestavia Hills, down 16% in inventory.
Yeah.
Look, number of single-family homes up, I believe, of the major metropolitan areas, only one that increased, but by 3%.
Yeah.
But hey, look at the average sales price.
38% up.
38%. Now, granted, you didn't have a lot of sales in Vestavia Hills, but
Some of those sales might have been higher dollar to throw that number off a little bit.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that the big takeaway you can take from something David said just a few minutes ago was everything, and he didn't use exact words, which was hyper-local. It doesn't matter. You're talking about the national numbers. I'm saying take that same philosophy here and say you can't take Alabaster and compare it to Hoover.
Yeah, and I think I just think it's funny, because I was just reading something last night about the fact that most people don't care about that real estate section in the Wall Street Journal.
No.
Right? But they don't care about real estate headlines on CNBC. But when you're buying a house, you're selling a house, you do. You tune into that stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's important to work with people that are paying attention to not only what's going on nationally, but also
local stats.
Local numbers here.
Anyway, I tell you. But overall, it was a mixed market. We need inventory. If you're looking to sell, hey, it's a good time. There's a lot of buyers still out there. Now, that being said, we're getting more, how long have we been a seller's market? A long time now. The sellers have been in control. We're back to 5 months of inventory. I got you to do the math the other day for me. We're back to 5 months of inventory. 6 months is a balanced market, which means there's an equal number of buyers and sellers. There should be, to just absorb the market over a 6 month period, right?
Yeah.
And then, but the buyers are going to steadily become more in control.
Yeah, and the buyers are going to be a little bit gun shy coming back this year. I think with one thing I think people did get tired of was the 10 and 12 offers on listings. So we're hoping that, we just have some normalcy to this market. We're going to have a good number of buyers enter the market. There's already some sitting there waiting. We're going to have a good number of houses enter the market, for inventory.
It's picking up. Now, we just got to exceed the numbers. I mean, to get back to where we need to be, we're going to have to see not only the normal cyclical number of sellers, we're going to need to see that exponential
But I also
increase.
think that buyers are also going to see those rates around 4.5 and be a little bit happier than
I'm
they
ready
were
to roll.
last year.
Well,
Let's see
the
4.5,
millennials are going to be real happy because they'll stay in it. The Alabama Hammer said it's already a buyer's market. Sellers don't know it yet. It could be the case. It's very much of a lag measure. Are you buying anytime soon, Slocum? I bet he's buying him a big house at the beach. What do you think?
He's hunting that big buck.
He's going hunting for the big buck.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones was the one where he was at the casino. I forget the one where he's smashing the slot machine, but or making them dance. That's the new one he's got where he's shooting at their feet. But anyway, the Alabama Hammer. All right.
Next up,
Wall Street Journal comes out with the top 10 upgrades for 2019 that you can put in your home. And wow, what a list. And especially there's Jose Morales. How are you, my friend? Luis Morales.
We're looking at the top 10 to sell your home for top dollar.
Absolutely. And a lot of these, the reason I
2019.
mentioned him, he's out in the West Coast. And a lot of these are things that they already have because the West Coast usually follows us 2 years later. So he'll probably be laughing.
A little bit more crown molding in the South, though. A little bit more detail on the woodwork in the South.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they always call their stucco more like a taco. The Taco Bell's material. That's stucco, right? A lot of their houses out there, right? Easier construction, I guess, but they still got to deal with earthquakes and stuff. So, dance for the hammer. That's right. All right, here we go.
That's an interesting one. Retractable glass walls.
Yeah, a lot of times they're pulling out the French doors and expanding that wall and having the accordion style.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Alabama Hammer has that too already, but it's accordion style, creating that outdoor space and bringing it inside.
Yeah,
right?
that made me think of was the at some of the coffee shops you see the garage doors that roll up.
Yep, that would be a good
and
thing.
open up a whole area. I also want to put couple of those on the living room.
Courtney loved that, right?
Yeah, on the back side of the living room, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
Big
crazy.
glass.
It gives a traditional floor plan a very modern, sleek look. So.
Yes.
Next one that they found was high ceilings.
High ceilings. This seems obviously you got to have room because if you move the ceiling up, if you run into the bedroom upstairs, you're not going far. Huh?
I mean, this is a tough one if you already have an existing house.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? Hey, Brady, I'm sorry, your room's gone. Daddy needs a new ceiling.
We're going to lose a bedroom, but we got high ceilings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
or you could just shrink the bedroom. Just make it.
Yeah. Well, they're little. They're 8.
Put
they'll
a
do.
bunk bed up there. That's like a loft.
Absolutely. Quartz countertops, the big one for 2019. They've been around for a while. Very durable because they're a mix of the composite and the natural stone.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The next one, Butler's Pantry. Okay. If you've got a butler, certainly give him a pantry.
Oh, absolutely.
What are you doing,
Hey, dude, we're not on a cruise.
Come on.
Yeah, everybody knows what the Butler Pantry is.
Help them
Most times in most of the houses we see, it's the area going between the kitchen and the dining room.
Yes.
Oftentimes where you store all the stuff you got at your wedding and you never use. That goes in the Butler Pantry, or better known as in the happy hour where the ice thingy is. Where you put your you pour your drinks.
Yeah,
cocktails.
Martinis. It's where you shake them up.
All right.
Next up is spa bathrooms, freestanding tubs, fancy stuff, huh?
Steam showers, heated floors,
High-tech toilets.
Japanese toilets. By the way, have you tried one of these?
No.
These things squirt water in places I didn't even know water was squirting. The best thing is, though, they do have a little thing that says pink or blue for men or women because the other one can surprise you if you don't watch it.
Okay.
I tried it one in Tokyo.
Yeah. You know that from experience.
Oh, yeah. Amanda hit the wrong button, and next thing, she had like this thing. It was like a water show at Bellagio. It was going everywhere. And
should have had a Facebook Live of that.
yeah, but they're cool. They're really cool. They're expensive. Again, I'm sure the Hammer has that too.
Absolutely. Heated floors now. I do like that.
Do you really?
Heated floors in the bathroom?
At night.
Well, in the wintertime. Okay, so we don't have maybe enough of a winter down here, but
Yeah, I mean, it's
up
cold
north,
now.
up north might be a good idea.
Smart home systems. We talked about it a few weeks ago. If I were to say one of the hottest things in our market is, I don't care if you're going to resell your home and it's Cobble's called it a used house, but you've been living in it and you want to give it an updated feel on top of a lot of finishes, throw up a Nest thermostat. People think you've updated the entire home.
Yeah, the Nest thermostat, the Nest cameras. Nest has a whole family of products now that they're adding on there. But I think some of that stuff is very cool. You can control the lights. You can control, obviously, the temperature. You can...
Security cameras?
Yeah. You can speak to delivery people, right?
Or the crook. Hey, boy.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like Mayhem.
Yeah.
He's breaking into his car.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then you need that guy. You mean the guy that gets beat up?
Yeah.
What's his name? Captain Mayhem?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
4-car garage, huh?
Absolutely. The 4-car garage. The problem is we have too much stuff, right? And one of the things they mentioned was they want to marry your cars in a garage with your stuff. That now there's room for all that.
Hey, now, speaking of stuff, if you guys have not yet seen Marie Kondo's Tidying Up, just look on Netflix.
Amanda's watching it. She keeps
my Lord.
talking about it. Is it crazy?
The Japanese lady, she's so sweet. And when she meets the house and she goes and thanks the house, it's the greatest. It's the greatest part of the show.
Amanda said you're supposed to thank. As you're going through your closet and getting rid of stuff, you're supposed to thank the clothes.
Yeah, thank it and then throw it away. But she gets down on her knees, shuts her eyes, and like does this little ritual where she's talking to the house, and it's hilarious. The rest of the family's behind her. They're kind of like opening their eye, like she's still doing something. What?
Well,
it's hilarious.
That is. We talked about Netflix earlier. Now we know what you're watching.
Yeah,
you're watching a Japanese lady praying to her clothes.
Hey, she's thanking the house.
To the underwear. All right. Next thing: barn, carriage house, or in-law suite or apartment. Using it as extra sleeping space, office,
more storage,
guest space, more storage. That would be us. It would be just more of our junk going somewhere. But really, of utilizing a space so that you don't have to. A lot of times, move right. So somebody can buy this house and already have a space for their office. Because I know a lot of folks working from home that don't want to be interrupted during the day. And I can't tell you how many times if I try to work at home, Amanda and Julia will walk in. Hey, one question, just one. All right, what's the question? And then 10 minutes later, hey, one question. We only got one question. You know,
one every 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, she didn't say that. But,
generator.
Yeah.
Now this would definitely be in certain areas. I don't know that a generator would be a big one on my list. That
if you're over 70, it is. I think right. We only see a lot of old people with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to be without power.
True.
You got the generator, hurricane. If you're in a hurricane-prone area, you're in a tornado-prone or
absolutely
thunderstorm. I mean, who doesn't? But the worst part is, I'll tell you, this is a funny story. When I was at Auburn, we went to. I remember the hurricane was coming through. Man, we were so excited, and we had we went to buy Coke or something. Really, we were buying beer. But anyway, we went and bought beer. Thought that was a great idea. So then we thought, well, great. When the power goes out, let's rent a few movies.
There you go.
We're idiots. We were talking about that the other day.
That's gonna work.
What idiots? I mean, we were like, man, there was power be out.
We had nothing
movies.
else to do. Let's watch some movies.
Yeah.
The next one, neutral decor, which is interesting. So light gray is now.
Well, of course, the grays is the beige of yesterday, right?
The beige of yesteryear.
But they talked about heavy brown furniture being out, of really everything being neutral. The flooring. The not making an impact and letting the statements be made in other ways, maybe with artwork, that kind of thing, but making sure that
let those statements be made.
Absolutely. I mean, so make sure that light gray's there. The heavy brown furniture is out. So the Wall Street Journal coming out with the 10 things that will upgrade your house, that you can use to upgrade your house.
And you heard it here first, unless you saw it on Wall Street Journal. So absolutely. Next we got, want to come back to Netflix. To finish up the show today, we've got the stock pick. And since we led with the Netflix price increase, I wanted to finish up and first thing I pulled up today was, I guess Netflix reported after the bell, and they're down following their earnings. Okay, so basically their report today, the stock's down after hours. They fell below projections for revenue. for the prior quarter, lower than expected guidance for Q1 2019. But I thought this was interesting. Subscriber additions came in above estimates.
Well, that came in above estimates, but at that lower price point, right? But what we're seeing is they are doing so much original programming
Yes.
that Netflix is incurring massive costs
Right.
that they're not able to keep up with.
Well, but that's okay, though, because I think they're drawing people in. See, what I think is interesting is there's going to be a lot of people moving to simplify that $150 cable bill that we've had for years, and that's really driving the big, the big switch, right? Mm-hmm. Cutting the cord was all about, cutting the cable companies out and saving some money. And Netflix is kind of the first one to the party with eyeballs.
Absolutely.
Right? So they've already got people.
All right,
Most
Hammer.
overpriced stock in the market. Yeah, might be a joke, but right now it is killing it. So the joke is on you if you don't have it right now, huh?
Hey, Hammer, all right, give us an alternative in that entertainment space that you would say is a stock that is worth owning, that has value.
Yeah, but I think it's interesting. It's gone way up. So it's whipsawed around. I wanted to bring it $420 a share. Slocum likes Apple.
Oh, it's probably true. I mean, that's
great stock, different industry.
Good entry point into Apple.
Yeah, different industry. But I thought it was interesting. Their additions came in 1.5 million subscribers, additions domestically, 7.3 million international.
Right.
That's subscriber ads.
Now I don't understand is this international.
Yeah.
I don't see how they get. Hey, Slocum, you're 1,000. I can't tell Slocum he's right 1,000 times. But
Right.
he's right in
Yes.
that the biggest thing with Apple is that cash.
Apple is the same.
We talked about last week about Southwest.
No, I mean, Apple is a great stock. Apple is not the same industry right now. I can't go with iPhones versus movies. I mean, I can't do it. They might try to get into the Netflix business, but right now, I mean, you might as well throw Google in there.
So you're going to say Disney? Well, Disney is getting in their streaming space. And one thing I am worried about is that we're going to see more streaming.
But I still, you ask anybody what Apple is, and it's an iPhone, right?
This guy. Well, I mean, I agree.
What do they sell most of?
I assume iPhones.
Yeah. That's just in my opinion. Now, they may come in the space and kill it. They do have a lot of money. They could definitely
And we talked about last week, why is it that Southwest has been able to do anything they wanted? Alaska Airlines much the same way. It's because they took the same approach that Slocum's talking about with all that cash. You can do whatever you want to. I mean, I thought years ago Apple missed an opportunity to buy Dropbox when they should have.
But don't you think...
There you go. Netflix earnings, penny a share, no cash. Hey,
right. Don't you think there's some barrier for entry though in there, Slocum, for the for Apple to make their own content will get expensive, right? So they don't. I don't know that they know much about that business at this point.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, and this goes down to the kind of investor. Hold on, I know you are how would I say this? A gambler at heart. On this stuff.
Yes.
And Slocum's taking a more, ironically, a more conservative approach. Huge entry for the poors.
Yeah. So for people that don't have money to pay the fees to get in there. Yeah. That's definitely true. So Apple's got it, but I guess Apple could go out and hire talent. I think it's interesting. The bottom on Netflix was just
3 weeks ago or something.
Yeah, it was just in December at $230 a share. Right now, today closed at $350. And after hours was down to $344. So interesting. The Fed reversal that we talked about earlier in the show, Netflix was at $230. Now they bounced back up to $350.
One thing we can ask Slocum about. Slocum owns. I know you, Slocum. Don't you own at least one Class A share of Berkshire Hathaway? Do they pay a dividend? The big regular Berkshire Hathaway, Berk A.
I don't know.
I mean, as much as you pay for it. I mean, this is the shares that you are owning a piece right there with Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
But what else?
Interesting talk on Netflix. I think Apple definitely has the money to do whatever they want to do, but then they're just going to have to catch up. So Netflix is till then.
Well, what do you think about Disney getting in? I mean, I worry that if we get too many of these competitors, see, it's so nice now when you can go to Netflix or Amazon Prime. But when you got Disney getting in the fold and all these other companies, I worry about that we're going to end up back where we were, where you got 80 options of expensive.
Yeah, now you have 20 subscriptions instead of just one.
Let's say, what did he say?
Sold them years ago. Blockbuster's founder is crying at what Netflix is doing.
Yeah,
yes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
There's a good series that I listen to on podcasts, and they compete. It's called Business Wars, a great podcast. And they take two companies and tell you the backstory. And that one was really interesting between Blockbuster. I mean, they had an opportunity, and they blew it.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Well, that wraps it up this week. It's been another great week, and we appreciate everybody stopping by. We will be here every Thursday, 4 o'clock. And don't forget to download the podcast. It's anywhere you can find great. Anywhere you can get good pod. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. But anyway, man.
Yes. Y'all have a great week, and we will be back here next Thursday.
All right. See y'all soon. Bye-bye.